Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. I'll be honest, when I started reading this, I thought it was going to end with you going home and duct taping together all the wrecked packaging from the original boxes into some kind of horrible facsimile of the original packaging and returning that nightmare instead. Your option was way more efficient. Bill your insurance without checking on your benefits first? If you say so. This happened maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but I remember it pretty well because it was a satisfying moment that taught me to leave detailed notes when working in customer service. I was working as an optician at a local optical chain. For those who don't know, all an optician does is sell glasses. I was in my early 20s and was working part-time while still in college full-time. Part of my duties as an optician was to answer phone calls, schedule appointments, get any insurance information that patients may have, and then check on the insurance to verify the patient's eligibility. As employees, we didn't like taking walk-ins on Saturdays because most insurance companies are closed on Saturdays and we can't call ahead to verify the patient's eligibility or benefits, and this always caused problems. On Friday, we would call and make sure all the Saturday scheduled patients were good to go with their insurance, so you can see how a walk-in would be problematic. But we did our best to explain that if a patient walks in on a Saturday and wants us to bill their insurance, they do so at their own risk. Anyway, one Saturday, a seemingly even-tempered older man, probably in his early 60s, came in wanting an appointment. Mind you, he wasn't pitifully old. He could walk, talk, drive, and think just fine. He was just at that stage where you're just starting to be a truly old man, where you're kind of grumpy at everything. If I recall correctly, we had some availability that day, so I went through the whole routine of having him fill out paperwork and asking if he was planning on billing insurance. He wasn't happy about the paperwork, most old people aren't, and said that he would be billing Medicare and that they also gave him like a $200 allowance towards glasses. I'd been working there for a while, and I knew that some of the Medicare only cover eye exams if there is a medical reason for it, and not for visual acuity problems. What was most concerning was he had a different Medicare card than we'd ever seen before, so we had no idea what his benefits were, but this man insisted and assured me they would cover the cost of the eye exam. I shrugged and told him that we normally would call the insurance company beforehand to verify his coverage, but because it's a Saturday, they're closed so we can bill Medicare at his own risk. He once again assured me that Medicare would cover the eye exam and that he would go ahead with the appointment. As I'm sure you've guessed by now, we went ahead with his eye exam. Luckily, I had the foresight, pun intended, to write this whole conversation down into his patient file notes on our computer system. I explained how he has Medicare and that they don't normally cover eye exams and that he wanted us to bill them anyway. After his appointment, the man was pleased with the doctor and left with his prescription. Fast forward a few months, a lot had happened since then. Crazy drama in the office led to me assuming the role of manager at the office, more responsibility for roughly the same pay, and I had to take a semester off of school to work full-time as a manager. One day, the same man from months before came in quite red in the face and went from even-tempered old man to angry old man. AM equals angry man, me equals me. Me, hey there, what can I do for you? AM, I'll tell you what you can do, you can refund this eye exam for me. Me, I look at the bill he threw on my desk. Okay, can I get your name, sir? AM, my name's on the bill. Now get rid of these charges. Me, sir, I can't do that. That exam was months ago. You could have used the prescription hundreds of times since then. But what happened? Are your glasses not working for you? AM, they're fine, but you didn't send the bill to my insurance. The bill's way too expensive. Around $150, which is a lot for an eye exam, and my insurance covers it. Me, let me take a look at it. At this point, I start to recognize him, and so I get the feeling I should check his patient notes. Sir, this charge here is what we billed to Medicare, and they sent the bill back because they wouldn't cover it. I remember you coming in, and I put our previous conversation in the notes saying Medicare wouldn't cover it. AM, well, how was I supposed to know? I want this refunded. Me, sir, we can't refund the whole amount, but maybe what I can do is talk to corporate and try to collect only for the cash price exam without insurance. Explanation, his bill was around $150 because for whatever reason we charge more when we bill to insurance companies, and regular eye exams to patients without insurance, we normally charge only $50 to $60. Since he insisted we charge to his insurance, it bounced back as the insurance price, which is obviously unfair to him. AM, no, I want this whole thing refunded, and I'll report you to the government for stealing from them and charging more to them. I'm sure Medicare doesn't even pay the whole amount we charge. We just send the bill for that much, and the rest is probably dismissed or something. Me, I can't do that, but I will put in your notes that we'll try to get you the cash price exam cost for your bill. AM, let me see those notes of yours. I'm going to need all the evidence I can get when I take you and this company to court. Me, knowing he won't do squat. Okay, here it is. I printed out the notes from now and before and handed them to him. AM, and why don't you sign here at the bottom so the court knows you gave this to me so you're held responsible? At this point, I think he was just trying to intimidate me with lawsuits and liability, but I already knew that I covered my butt by putting all those details in the notes. Plus, I was a student/employee at a local optical chain. I highly doubted this issue would get anywhere over a $150 bill. So I happily put my dumb signature at the bottom of my extensive notes. Me, so sir, I'll call corporate and see if they can change that bill to a cash price exam, okay? AM, and I'll see you in court. Me, okay, see ya. Never heard back from him after that. It's been about 4 years since and no sign of any lawsuit. I think I remember talking to corporate and they were happy to change his bill and indeed changed it, so he probably just ended up paying the cash price exam, which if he would have done in the first place would have saved him a lot of time, money, and energy. And our last story. One person claims to be the entire HOA for a complex. I've lived in a condo that's made up of 2 sides, 4 condos on each side. My side has a community room and community roof access. I've lived here the 3rd longest with the exception of both the last units, one couple's been there for 18 years, and the HOA manager has been here for 16. We have someone who apparently is the HOA manager, but I only noticed it's only when he needs to repair something that's affecting his unit or when he wants to stick his nose in your business. If you have a real problem you need help with, my neighbor's wall was leaking because there was a broken sprinkler in the front lawn adjacent to her garage, he'll tell you not to do anything and that he cannot help you because he's the HOA treasurer. The first 3 years I lived here, I never spoke to him or his wife because they always gave me really dirty looks and would not wave back when I waved at them or smiled. I noticed they have hoarding tendencies and all their plant pots, sheet metal, animal gravity feeders, pallets, and building materials and makeshift cat houses are scattered all around our side of the complex. Also, the community room that's supposed to be for everyone who lives there to do activities in or have meetings in is filled with their personal belongings and kept locked. Once they left a dishwasher out next to the dumpster for 2 weeks, so I finally saw the wife outside and asked her, "Do you know who left this here?" And she said, "No," and slammed her car door. After that, I stopped waving because what's the point of being nice to someone that clearly doesn't like you at all for no reason? I've never had an engagement with them because I never see them or their kids outside. It worked a lot when I first moved in, so I was hardly ever home. I never really had anyone over either because I was too busy with work. Every time someone did something wrong, dumped furniture or toilets in front of the house or took up too much space in the dumpster, I received a text from my landlord asking me if I was the one responsible and to please not violate the HOA rules, the rules that I was never given a copy of. Every time I did anything, I was tattled on by the HOA manager or his wife as they would send pictures of what I was doing to my landlord, telling him to tell me it was not allowed and to stop. Even if they do the same thing and other residents were also doing it, I got blamed for it. I want to say all this started over guest parking. I had a friend over that parked in the middle guest parking spot and they left a note on my friend's car saying they can't park there. I wrote on the note, "What parking spot is guest parking? You do not park in your garage because it's full, which is not my business, but I don't think you guys should take 2 or 3 parking spots all the time." After that, my landlord said that the parking spots went up for sale at $15 each, and if I wanted one, of course I took the last space, but I still didn't think it was fair for those spots to be taken. Every time something is broken in the complex and you inform him, the HOA manager apparently thinks you're complaining. The mailbox has been getting broken into for over a year, and it's not been relocated to the inside of the gate or replaced with a more secure one because there's no money in the HOA account. I did some research, and the mail is a federal matter, so I'm pretty sure neglecting fixing it is against the law. I even donated a USPS-approved mailbox out of my own pocket, and the HOA manager told my landlord to inform me to return the mailbox and to stop meddling into HOA affairs, or I will have her evicted. He always says his job as the HOA manager is thankless and he receives no help, when in fact he refuses help all the time. Why would someone refuse a donation like that? I know why. Because he wants to find a mailbox himself for like $500 and bill the HOA $4,000 and pocket the difference. Last year, I had an incident with a guest of mine that was overstayed her welcome. I'm stupid for trying to help her, I guess, but I just felt bad for her. I told my coworker she could stay with me for 2 days because she said she was living in her car and she had nowhere to go. After 2 strange men came looking for her in the middle of the night, I nicely and neatly packed up her belongings and left them outside. It had been 2 weeks that she stayed with me, and I'd warned her 3 times previously to look for somewhere else to stay. So instead of being thankful I let her stay with me at all, she called the police and said I'd stolen from her. The police came while I was asleep and knocked on the door, but I was sleeping. They advised her to leave and settle what she needed to settle with me in court. She didn't leave, but instead she started spraying my front door with a hose and her screaming for me to come out. I came outside and told her to please be quiet and leave because she's being inconsiderate to my neighbors, and I shut the door. Apparently she got even more mad and she called the police and lied, saying I threatened to shoot her and I had a gun. The police interviewed the neighbors and all of them said nice things about me except for guess who? The HOA manager lied to the police and said that I run around waving a gun all the time. WTF. All the crap previous to this, everything being neglected, and him calling me a devil worshiper, and his wife causing injury to my dog, and I was willing to just ignore and go on with my life. But this liar cost me over a week of my life in jail. On so many levels, that's wrong. There's nothing I hate more than a person who projects the guilt onto other people. Ever since the parking incident, he's made it very clear that he doesn't like me by saying things like, renters aren't even supposed to live here. He even told me once that my landlord isn't allowed to rent out his condo. Pretty sure that's not a law or a thing, and an individual owner can do whatever they want with their property. None of the owners want to get involved. My landlord's not trying to do anything, despite all of the things that are going on. The front gate's been broken for weeks, and I can't get my Amazon groceries or packages delivered. The roof was leaking for 4 years, and he made someone who just bought their unit pay for some of it, even though it had been leaking for years before he moved in. Nothing gets fixed around here, and we never have any money in the HOA account. I'm pretty sure that the information about what the money is being spent on is public, so we decided to sue the self-proclaimed HOA manager for defamation and libel and other damages from lost wages and anguish. Guess who's not in charge of the HOA now? That's right, the a-hole who's been poisoning our lives lately. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.